Nathan, I've been working with cancer patients for 40 years and watching my father work with cancer patients for probably 20 years prior to that. And what I have to say is that the number one thing that I have found in dealing with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people over those years, now teaching with people in large groups and in deep intensive workshops, et cetera, that the number one reason for altering our vibrational frequency is suppressed emotion. That when we are unable to metabolize life, when we are unable to be open and working with and accepting and embracing and speaking into our truth and actioning in our authenticity, when we suppress that in any way, what begins to happen is we suppress the vibrational frequency instantly. And we then therefore ultimately create chemical environments as a byproduct of that suppression that do not allow for normal cellular rejuvenation and replenishment. And we create an acidic environment chemically in the body as well as a byproduct of that, which ultimately causes cellular breakdown. Every cell in our body is designed to be floating in an alkaline environment with the exception of the stomach lining. And when we are suppressing our emotion, we are ultimately generating an acidic condition that is far greater than any acidic condition that can be balanced by eating alkalizing foods. So of course, eating alkalizing alkaline ash foods it's the number two way that we can certainly create the chemical balance in the body that we're looking for to replace old worn out cells with healthier, more vital ones, and to replace cancer cells with non-cancerous cells. But prior or more primal than that, more primary to our acidic condition, above and beyond the foods that we eat, is the thoughts that we think, conscious and subconsciously. If I could answer it in a sentence, I would say our come from, which isn't, a very sophisticated medical terminology way of responding, but, I like to speak in terms that people can relate to and feel, because that's what changes their reality. It's what lets it land for them and lets them say, oh, do I have a come from? Where is my come from? Do I automatically assume that I'm unworthy, that I'm not enough, that there's something I should be doing that's better than the me that's here presenting in the world? Is there some other way I should be in the world other than the way that I am? It's the number one thing that when I have boiled down to the bottom line underneath all things causal, it comes down to the basic primary energy frequency, because everything in the universe is energy, and that energy is either vibrating at a frequency that is serving us or it is not. And so when we feel something, but we don't know how to articulate it or we don't know how to bring it out, we then suppress it. And if that is suppressed, the research has been showing for decades now that, we can't handle that, and we're not built to handle that. And so the body responds in a way that is out picturing that for us and showing us that we have to have an evaluation. I can't tell you how many patients would come to me after receiving a diagnosis of some cancerous condition, being told that they had months or less to live, and on their way home from the hospital or from their doctor's office, feeling, this is not for me. This is not my story. It's not my time. It's not, no, that is not what's going down here. And so they then would reach out to alternative methods, and we would go straight into this piece of the conversation immediately because of what I had been, observing over time. And, 15 years later, they're standing up at my events and giving their testimonial about, hey, I just had to have a come to Jesus, or, whatever. I don't mean to be, religious in a particular fashion there, but they had to have come to the deep truth. Yeah. And have a change of the relationship between their heart and their mind, and allow their internal truth to be more valuable to them, and to allow themselves to walk out into that in a different way.